NewGenGamers.com.
Welcome everybody to a console war of the past. We're going to be taking a look at the Bally Astrocade.
Astrocade, home library computer, Bally computer,
Professional arcade.
The many, many different names that it had over its time. What we have is what's commonly known as the Bally Astrocade. And here is our main component system right here. Now this is an older system, so you notice the wood grain.
Wonder what system had that.
What you will notice that's different is the calculator type keypad.
Actually, they put that on there because there is a calculator built into the system.
Well, it's not just that.
It also controls some of the game functions.
Yeah, it controls the game functions from the menu. Is also meant to have basic.
As you see, there's a license under U.S. patent
on it.
You see a reset and eject button.
Yeah. The
reset button is how you got back to the main screen.
Right.
And then ejects the cartridges.
Now, here we want to, let's show them how the cartridges go in. They kind of look like old cassette tapes without the reels.
Right.
So you just kind of pop it in there and then boop, pop it down in.
And then to
eject it, just press the button, out pops your tape, so to speak.
So there's not a lot of buttons on the front.
Well, a lot of the buttons are, unfortunately, for most systems of that era, on the back, where all your controller ports are. There are 4 controller ports on this console.
Yep, two over there, the off button, and then the power and video.
They're actually numbered up here,
right.
And they'll tell you where everything goes. There's the on-off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here's your power. Well, your power and your video cables.
Right.
Let me show you a quick look at the power adapter. Here's the power adapter.
That is big for a plug, but not as big as some.
It's not an NES one?
Right. And then there's your standard video cable.
It's an RF out, which we are using a converter to get to play on a more modern television.
Okay. And you played these games with
this controller. This is the Bally Astrocade controller. It's a pistol grip type controller
with a turn knob at the top that moved in an 8-directional way.
Now you can move it up, down, left, right,
and north,
and
south.
Circle. So
and they were numbered.
Trigger button. Yeah, each controller was numbered. Like if you bought them in the store in a box, they would be numbered 3 and 4.
And then
now
also it came with something called the Bally computer programming cartridge with built-in audio interface, or the basic cartridge.
Now we have the basic cartridge here. This is the 2000 baud. Wow, that really reflects.
Move your ass.
Now what we can do here is we're going to plug in you can plug in a cassette player and load your program onto it, and then load it back onto the system RAM through this cartridge.
Well, when programs were written, they were saved to cassette reels.
Yeah.
And then we don't have any access to that, or it's, out of our budget for the moment.
Well, it's out-of-date technology. So
that too.
What we did was I went online to our friends at Bally Alley, we have a newsletter from them. That's where I've actually learned quite a bit about this system while I was doing my research.
Because there's still
active user base.
Yeah, there's still an active community for it, like the Dreamcast, or other, consoles of the past that have cult followings.
Yeah, the Bally Astrocade is one of those that has a cult following, mainly because you could create your own games for it.
You can create a fun little fact: the CG art for the Death Star was made on one of these.
Wow.
The blueprint thing that turns the rebels are looking at.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
And then this is a...
looks like a printout of the original instruction manual.
And then you got table of contents. Oh, disassembly.
Yeah.
The controllers are fragile. Inside here
Not really. I mean, for something that came out in '78, we're talking a 40-year-old console.
Yeah, but inside here is this knob goes all the way through to a motor, right? And then there's wires and stuff that connect it to the
well, it has that
but it's
pedometer.
It's very easy to pull this knob out.
Yeah, and somebody was roughhousing a little bit with the second controller that I had, so I had to do a little bit of a repair job on it.
I did not roughhouse with it. Anyways, here's your it gives you information about the games that come on the system. There's 4 of them. 4
games on the system. You'll get to see those.
And then there's...
It tells you about additional video codes you can buy.
Yeah, which are
these.
The cartridges. And then it tells you how to connect it and all that. Just things that you would find in
a general. Here's the general specs of the system.
Yeah. The system can handle 256 colors, but you can only show 4 colors on the screen at a time.
4 on screen, yeah.
But the keypad changes all the colors.
Yeah.
There's one for hue, saturation, and lightness, brightness, darkness, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's specifically shown for the most part in the
scribbling game.
Scribbling game, which we actually have an overlay for the scribbling game.
Ooh.
So there's where
the
info comes in there.
Like what's some other game systems that use overlays?
Intellivision and Coleco.
Okay, so yeah, you just pop this over your keypad, and it tells you white, green, red, blue, color change, intensity increase, intensity decrease, and then clear.
Which clears your screen and starts you over.
Now,
a lot of the games actually didn't require overlays. They weren't really as complex. As you can see, here's a 3-page instruction book for Incredible Wizard.
But compare Incredible Wizard to the basic.
Well, the basic cartridge has a lot of different applications you can do with it.
You can actually, like we said, write.
It literally walks you through how to do a game.
How to write your own program and stuff.
Yeah, and we also have tucked away in here
more overlays.
The basic cartridge overlay. Let's keep that tucked away in there.
And then, also, this...
Oh, and the top part is a handy-dandy game storage area.
Or you can store your controllers in it, whichever floats your boat.
Yeah, however you want to do it. If you only have like 2 or 3 games and you want
to... Get off the table.
Stick your... If you want to put your controllers in there.
Sorry, we're fighting with the cat. But we usually store our controllers in there. The games usually go into our game hutch.
Yeah.
There's something like 45.
I think 28 official cartridges.
28 official, 45 total games for it. 45 or the.
Well, a lot. We'll go into this here a little bit.
Rip-offs.
No, we'll go into this a little bit later. They actually weren't rip-offs. Because this system, because you were allowed to make your own games,
right?
Some of the users of the early newsletters kind of got together and were trying to form game companies.
Right.
So it kind of had a bit of an underground feel to it.
Kind of like hacking, or maybe even going as far as say pirating.
Well,
because they did. Pac-Man was turned into Maze Man. So
Muncher,
yes, test program. That's what it was called. That's what it was sold as, test program.
Right.
So I mean, it's really it's a really neat system. It's really fun. You wouldn't think a system this old would be this fun.
Well, yeah, and I've played a lot of old systems, and I've got my favorites and my nots. If I could still pop in a Coleco and play it,
right,
or in a television. This is one of those systems I could boot up. Here we are, almost 40 years later,
and have fun
and still have some fun with it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and fire this up and take a look at some of the game library we have for it, and maybe even some made games.
Yep. All right, let's do it.